You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. We're live on 99.5 ESPN Radio, Emporia's home for sports. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. You can always call in at 620-343-6143. That's 620-343-6143. Don't forget you listen all day, every day by simply going to 995ESPN.com, or you can download the 99.5 ESPN app and listen wherever you are as well, suitable for iPhone and Android devices. Like I said, big show to get to today. Don't forget, coming up top of the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to have Dylan Sherwood live in the building, talk to us about all things Emporia High sports over the weekend. Additionally, we've got NBA playoffs to talk about the game from last night, Golden State and Houston, and of course, Cleveland and Boston as well. In the meantime, Damarious Randall. This is the one thing where you really that I personally love about social media. This is the one thing that I love. Somebody does something, everybody jumps them for it, so then they go, okay, here, bro, here's what we'll do. So Damarious Randall had put out tweets earlier. Quote, I'm glad the Cavs made it to the finals so I can watch Curry light that expletive up game 3 and 4. I'm courtside game 3 and 4. So he's clearly going to be attending the games. Then he had Matt Kishner reply to him, are you from California? Is your family from California? Have you lived and gone to school in California? Have you played with any other team or players associated with the Golden State Warriors? Just a front runner then. Same as every other GS fan. Leave Cleveland, please. Leave Cleveland, bro. Out the door you go. Said leave Cleveland. So we said fine. Damarious Randall decided to go back on and said, if the Cleveland Cavaliers win the 2018 NBA Finals, I'll buy everyone a jersey who retweets this. By the way, as of, I want to say, about 3 hours ago, he was up to 72,000 retweets. They did the math on it, and they figured that he was looking at the way that it was growing, 7.279 million jerseys is the kind of money he would spend. 7.27 mil. That's insane. By the way, in case you're wondering, that's not even a year's salary for him. That's his overall 4-year deal. That's what he would make total in 4 years. So let's all hope that Damarious Randall has saved his money just in case the Cleveland Cavaliers pull out a victory. Because when you're looking at 7 mil, bro, and your entire gross is 7 mil. Now, I want to be clear here for just a second. And this is the thing that does bother me about social media in general, about certain things in general, and that is when you say something and people expect, because of where you live, to automatically have an association with being there. There is a level of understanding that I get. I am not from Emporia. I am from Wichita. And I am very proud of the fact that I'm from Wichita. Does that mean that I suddenly don't like Emporia? Does that mean that I suddenly don't like Emporia sports? No. But does that suddenly mean I have to say that Emporia State is my favorite team? So, I like Emporia State. I enjoy interviewing the coaches. But to just come in here in front and say, oh, no, I've been an Emporia State fan my whole life, well, that would just be ridiculous. So to me, I look at Damarious Randall as actually being just a real guy. And I think that's the issue, is we take our figures in life, whether they're journalists or whatever the case may be, and we just say, well, here's the deal, bro. You're not allowed to root for anybody else. You got to root for this team, and that's all there is to it. Well, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I'm not into that. I don't see why we can't allow our athletes to be human. Just let them be who they are. If he wants to root for Golden State, then let him root for Golden State. What rule is there that is written that suddenly because he plays for the Cleveland Browns, that he now has to be all things Cleveland? If he's a fan of Steph Curry and he's talking about Steph Curry lighting it up, then what's the big deal? Come on, man. You got Kitchener on there telling him to leave Cleveland. Why? Because he drew a line in the sand that other people didn't like, that you didn't agree with? I think the problem is that everything is an overreaction. It is an overreaction. If you wanted to trash talk him a little bit, and say, hey, man, you think that's going to happen? Well, we'll see what happens when LeBron James comes through then. That would be one thing, because that's what he's doing. He's just trash talking. He's being a dude. He's being a guy. He's being a sports fan. He's trash talking, which is something that 99% of us do when it comes to sports. Come on, I'm a Broncos fan. Didn't I just have Don Weiss in his program the other day? And didn't he and I jaw a little bit back and forth about the Chiefs and Broncos? It's just sports stuff. It's nothing personal. Why are you taking it so personal, bro? You mad or what? So what does he do? Okay, dude. Fine. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm basically making a bet with the entire city of Cleveland. I'm making a bet that Golden State's going to win the series. And if they don't, then I'm buying everybody a jersey. That's what he did. He went on the internet and made a bet with everybody. And everybody's answer to that bet was, okay, what do I have to do to win? Oh, I only have to retweet and Cleveland has to win for me? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm down for that. Oh, and I don't lose anything? Oh, well then, all right. So I would take that bet as well if I was a Cleveland fan. Hell, I thought about retweeting it, and I'm not even a Cleveland fan. I am not the biggest LeBron fan in the world, but I'll tell you this. I'd be the first one to wear a free jersey around town. Absolutely right that I would do that. Because, see, it doesn't make sense to me that you automatically have to be all things wherever you suddenly are. And I've known a lot of people that are like that. Well, I moved here and kind of became this fan, and then I moved there and I became a fan of that team. And so I've got like 4 or 5 that I follow. That's not how this works. I've had 4 teams my whole life, 2 in college, 2 in the NFL. And then, of course, for the NBA, I've always been a Knicks fan. So for college, it's Nebraska and Syracuse. And in the NFL, it's Denver and Philly. Those have been my 4 teams, I guess you say 5, my entire life. Period. Everybody's got a backup team. We've all got that. But when it comes down to fanfare, why is it we can't allow our athletes to be human? I mean, we look at them as if they are these Terminator-like figures. What do you expect from just hasta la vista, baby? I'll be back. I mean, come on, Is that all we truly want these guys to do? Is go out there and win our team a game of football? And everything else, who cares? I mean, is that what this really boils down to? I personally do not understand the intolerance that we have, that when somebody comes to our town, our city, they automatically have to be as if they've been there their entire lives. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm getting to know this town. I'm getting to know people that are in it. I'm getting to know the university. I'm getting to know things about the university, about the coaches, the players, the history, the tradition of Emporia State. That stuff is not learned, in a couple of weeks. It's learned over time. And so for a guy to come in and be his first year as a Cleveland Brown, why in the hell does anybody think that he suddenly has to be, oh, well, yeah, go Browns, I'm going to be there. Or go Cavs, I'm going to be there in game 3 and 4. Yep, go Cleveland. Let people root for who they want to root for. I mean, it's literally one of only 2 industries that I could potentially think of, 3 maybe, where you don't get to change your mind on anything or root for who you want to root for. If people turn off my show because I openly admit to being a Broncos fan, I don't know what to tell you if it trips your trigger that hard. Because anybody who's listening to me knows that even though I'm a Broncos fan, I'm not biased. And I'm the first one to jump down Denver's throat for doing 101 things that I do not agree with. Not as a journalist, not as a fan, not as somebody who's paid to critique and evaluate coaches and players, et cetera, et cetera. I'm the least biased person there is. I will give credit where it's due. I mean, come on, man. I'm not some of these other guys that, when the Dallas Cowboys as a 5-6 football team have the nerve to get on national television and say, well, they're the best team in football. I mean, come on. My fandom isn't that crazy because I take my business seriously. And so because I take my business seriously, I'm the first to be impartial. But it's also about having fun. It's fun to watch other teams. I mean, yeah, I've got my teams that I root for, and I want them to win, but it doesn't mean that it's not fun to watch. I mean, because I'm a huge SEC fan. I've loved watching SEC football since I was a kid because it's fun. It's enjoyable to me to watch a lot of other teams. I mean, literally, that's why I've talked about on a Saturday morning, I could wake up and just start watching college football from sun up to sundown. Because that's enjoyable to me. It's entertaining. It's fun. And to take the fun away of somebody going, yeah, I can't wait for, I can understand Cleveland emotion. The fact that they've had a hard time with their football team and really, LeBron and the Cavs is the only thing that they've had. And, they had a Cleveland team that was really good and they got beat by Chicago, the Cubs. I mean, I get it. It's been years upon years, mistake by the lake and all that stuff. I understand your plight. But come on, let the guy root for who he wants to root for. There's no set given of allegiance other than the team that he plays for. That's who he's got to show his allegiance to, is the Cleveland Browns. That's it. That's the only team he's got to show his allegiance to. When it's all said and done, the only allegiance I need to have at this radio station is to this radio station. As far as sports goes, who gives a damn what team I root for? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe I'm not. For me, the point that I'm making is this. To try to systematically tear down somebody simply because they play in your city's team, to say that they have to root for all teams and all players in other sports within that city doesn't make any sense to me. I understand that guys like J.J. Watt and Aaron Rodgers are all about, they'll show up to games for their respective states. I mean, come on, we all saw J.J. Watt there at the Houston Rockets game a couple of games ago. Him and Justin Timberlake, they were sitting there next to each other and they were having a good time. And I get that, but that's them. And more than anything, I think they were just there to kind of enjoy the game. And then when their city that they live in and play for rose up, they were like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. J.J. Watt's that guy. He's just a high-spirited guy and everybody loves him. It's not to say that Damarious Randall is not embracing the community of Cleveland. He's just being a sports fan, and that's okay. That's why he plays football, because he's a fan of sports. See? 620-343-6143 is the number. 620-343-6143. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. You can always find us on the internet. Listen to us wherever you are. You can do that as well, 995ESPN.com. You can also take me with you wherever you are by downloading the 99.5 ESPN app. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the flip side, plenty more to get to. We've got more NBA playoffs to discuss. We've got baseball to discuss. We've got NFL to discuss. And, of course, Dylan Sherwood coming up from the Emporia Gazette at the 4 o'clock hour. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.